me tell you about Will Miller. Will used to be a lawyer in Ontario. He also used to be a meth addict. In his memoir, Life After Meth, Will reveals the consequences of untreated mental illness. The pressure to perform pushed him into a meth addiction, and the resulting paranoia and depression destroyed his relationships and caused him to fail his clients. Will's story is not unique. 1 in 4 lawyers suffer from mental illness, and their addiction, anxiety, and depression is compounded by the guilt when they let down their clients. Hi, I'm Angela, and I'm a law student in Ontario. I'll be speaking to you about mental health and legal profession, what we've been doing about it, and what we need to be doing about it, and also how that can be expanded to help people in other professions. In the legal profession, mental health is taboo. Lawyers are expected to be efficient, authoritative, precise. That idealized image of us says that we're not supposed to struggle with anxiety or depression or addiction. Could any lawyer risk admitting that they'd been up all night with panic attacks or suicidal thoughts? We'd open up ourselves to doubts about our lawyering ability. Our strategic decisions could be called into question. Our employers could fire us or stop giving us the challenging cases, the ones that actually pay the bills. Our clients might not want to retain us anymore. And so, we even risk being disbarred. And that's why lawyers suffer in fear, and they suffer in silence. As a result, we've seen some truly worrisome increasing rates of mental illness, substance abuse, and attempted suicide within the legal profession. A study by Johns Hopkins University revealed that lawyers suffer from depressive disorders at a rate 3.6 times higher than non-lawyers with the same income and education levels. And these rates are on the rise. One bar association found that nearly 1/8 of all lawyers have contemplated suicide at least once in the last month. And it starts early. Law students suffer from higher depression rates than students in all other disciplines, and higher suicide rates too. Some of our most talented advocates are leaving the profession because it is destroying them from within. And that is not good for the legal system or for you as people who might need lawyers one day. You're going to want a lawyer operating at the top of their game, not someone doing their best to hide the fact that they just had a panic attack 20 minutes before meeting you. A mistake in the legal system can be incredibly costly for everyone involved. Due to the nature of our justice system, a single error could cause a mistrial or justify an appeal, meaning the entire case has to be tried all over again. Just imagine the millions of dollars, both to the clients, to the firms, and to the taxpayers, that could be saved if only the lawyers were in peak condition, if only these mistakes could have been avoided. So, how do we address this? Well, there are some online resources out there, but they're completely inadequate. For instance, there's one popular Healthy Boundaries workshop that teaches you how to manage stress and prevent burnout. It's the same old advice you'd find on WebMD or a Facebook meme. Eat healthy, exercise, go out with your friends, don't take your work home with you. If you're already depressed and anxious, that's not going to help. The Law Society does a little bit better. They offer a telephone hotline that you can call in times of need and talk to a therapist. But that's realistically going to be a last resort. Maybe you'll call them when you're in crisis mode in the middle of the night. So they'll calm you down, and then you put on a brave face for the next few weeks until your next nervous breakdown. And even then, the lawyers are terrified that the stranger on the other end of the line might report them to the Law Society. No, real mental health support requires regular, consistent, one-on-one therapy with the same professional who can work with them to develop a personalized, long-term plan tailored to their needs. A hotline just isn't enough. That is why I'm proposing that we extend mental health care insurance coverage to all legal professionals. It's time to shift the burden away from the people battling the mental illness. And this idea isn't really that radical. Employers already offer health, dental, prescription glasses, a drug plan, because they know that if their employees are at their healthiest, they'll produce the best work and provide the best results for their clients. And this is already working in a prominent sector. A few years ago, we realized that our fire, medical, and police services were developing PTSD at alarming rates. So in 2016, Queen's Park passed a law that ensures that first responders in high-stress frontline work receive insurance for mental health services. It's working. The Supporting Ontario's First Responders Act lays the foundation for employer-funded mental health care, paving the way for professionals in other high-stress fields to demand the same. Many parallels exist here. Nearly 1/3 of Ontario's lawyers are in frontline public sector work, as public defenders, duty counsel, clinics that serve the underprivileged, as advocates for victims of human rights abuses. And remember, many of these public sector lawyers are quietly suffering from their own trauma, sometimes due to the very nature of the job. If the criteria to deserve mental health support is high-stress frontline work that provides an essential public service, then this fits the bill. This mental health care scheme needs to be done through third-party insurance. Having to ask your boss, hey, can you sign off on reimbursement so I can get therapy? Completely defeats the purpose of privacy. There are, in fact, already insurance companies that offer mental health coverage. Workplaces can pay just a few dollars extra per month for the premiums, and they'll get the whole package: health, dental, drug plan, mental health. And employees will be able to use it, or not, without anyone in their office ever needing to know, and therefore without risking that judgment or stigma. Now, I have been asked, why don't they just pay for their own therapy? I get it, there is a stereotype that says lawyers are incredibly wealthy. Yes, some lawyers do make a lot, but in the public sector, they're usually paid about as much as a first responder, sometimes less. Entry rates for the first 5 or so years after law school in a new firm is often as low as $40,000 a year. That's lower than what many other sectors make. And most of us spend the first 10 years of our earnings just trying to pay off our student loan debt from law school. Paying for our own therapy is often not realistic. The only way to ensure that mental health care is available and accessible to the practitioners who need it is to ensure that it is available through employer-funded insurance. So what does the long game look like? We've started offering employer-funded mental health to our first responders, and that's fantastic. Next, we need to offer it to the 1/3 of lawyers who are providing the essential frontline public service. After that, it should be extended to the entire legal profession. But it cannot end there, because at that point, we will have paved the way for mental health coverage to be extended to so many other sectors: teachers, guidance counselors, nurses, social workers, accountants, custodial staff, the list goes on. Every workplace has mental illness, and they all deserve help. It's time for our employers to step up, and it's time for our government to step up. It needs to legislate so that high-stress frontline workplaces, including the legal profession, must offer mental health care to their employees. I'll be a lawyer in a couple years, and I'm concerned that what happened to Will could happen to me or one of my colleagues. Will was able to find help, start therapy, and get back on his feet, but it took nearly 10 years. Imagine how much sooner he could have been practicing again, contributing to the justice system, if only he had the resources from the beginning. I want to make sure that that help is available to all the people who need it. Given what's at stake, it's a price worth paying.